Hello, creative friends, and welcome to the Stampin' Squad. My name is Cheryl Dorsey, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I just want to welcome you to the squad today. I am queuing up my computer to make sure that we are really live. So it looks like we are. So if you are jumping in today, say hi, tell me where you're watching from, and let me know that you can hear me. That's always important, right? It's better on the lives when you can actually hear what I'm saying. Okay. So I'll try to look over at the chat every once in a while and see if you guys are having something to say, if you have a question, if you want to make a comment, all of that is welcome. But I'm excited to show you this card today. The first thing I want to point out is this right here. This is my website. Okay, so that's my web address. And there's all kinds of things there. If you go to my website, you'll see my email address. So if you want to send me email, you can also just contact me through my website. I've got a tab there where you can look at many, I think over 100 projects that I have done. And you just click on the project, including this one. You can find this one there. You just click on the project, and there are other measurements for it and also a shopping list. So lots of good information for you on my website. And of course, you can shop on my website as well. So, and I appreciate it when you guys do that. I love it. One thing I did want to mention is when you place an order with me this month, I will send you one of my handmade cards. So I love to say thank you, and I'll send you a card that you can either keep for yourself or you can send to someone else. And also, if the product value of your order is $100 or more, then I will be sending you a little gift. So, things to keep in mind when you are placing your next order with me. Again, I really appreciate that. All right, let's get started. Talk about what we've got here. And I think I saw Mary pop in, and I'm looking at my computer, and for some reason it is not it's not showing me the chat. Okay, here it is. I found it. Wow. Usually it's at the top, but it's not. I had to go look for it. Oh, oh, Mary, it is 50 degrees. Is that warm? It seems like that might be warm for February in Wisconsin. And Bonnie's here too. Hi, Bonnie. New Mexico. Awesome. I love it. It's hot here. It's like 80 degrees here. So I don't know what's happening, but anyway, I've got short sleeves on today. Okay, let's look at what we've got. This is a piece of basic beige cardstock. It's kind of a newer neutral color. And honestly, I don't think I've ever used it until this project. It's just been sitting on my shelf, but this is a perfect project for it. And so this piece of cardstock is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then I have already scored it right here in the middle at 4.25. That's our card base. I have another piece of basic beige, and this measurement is 3.5 by 4. And I've got a piece of basic white, and that is 4 inches by 5.25. I have a piece of designer series paper here. We'll talk about where I got this paper in just a minute. It's 2 inches by 4 inches. And then I've got a piece of old olive cardstock that is 3.25 by 3.5. And then I've got just a little cutout of a little cottage, and we'll talk about that paper too. So let me show you some of the things that I'm using today. The paper for both of these, and one of the stamps that we're using, and one of the dies we're using is from, there are things in the Storybook Moments suite. So I just kind of handpicked a few things out of the suite that we're going to use today. So this is that plaid paper. It's called Timeless Plaid, and it's 6 by 6 paper, and it's got really beautiful colors here. I think some of these colors would be great for masculine cards. But today we're using this one. And then this cute little cutout is from this 12 by 12 paper. This paper is called Storybook Moments. And let me just show you the sheet of paper that I cut that from. So this is the sheet, and you see it has all these really cute little cottages. And so I just took one of these sheets and went through and cut out many of these little houses and used them to make these cards. All right, let's stamp first. How about that? I'm going to grab this piece of basic white. This is going to go on the inside of our card. And today I am using Pebbled Path for my stamping. And the stamp I'm going to use on the inside of my card is from, hold on, it's also from that suite. It's the Storybook Friends stamp set, and I'm using this. Can you see this little stamp? It is a cottage. It's tiny. It is so cute. I didn't even realize there was a cottage stamp. I thought it was just all the animals until I looked at it closely, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. It's adorable. We have to use it. We have to use it. So I am going to stamp on the inside. We're going to put this right down here in the corner. So let me ink this up, and just going to put it right there. Okay. And then I've got one more thing I want to stamp, and it's on this small piece of the basic beige. And I'm going to use, it's a stamp that says from me to you. And let me show you which stamp set that is from. It is from the Bright Borders stamp set. Here it is, from me to you. And this is a great stamp set if you don't have this one yet. If you have the To the Point punch, these borders coordinate with that punch. Very cute. I love it when they do that. All right, from me to you. So let me just stamp that right down here in the corner. There we go. I'm going to put this pebbled path away. And we've got lots of fun things to do with this card. It's like I just kept thinking of more things we could do. So I grabbed a couple of my Stampin' Blends. This is the light Calypso Coral, and this is the light Old Olive. And I'm just going to color in the little shrubs, I guess, that are in front of this cottage. And because this image is so, I guess, just dainty, it's very dainty. I'm not like coloring like this, I'm just making dots very close together so it fills in the color because I don't want to just go outside the lines. So I'm just making little dots to get my old olive in there. Can you see that? It's so little. Okay, there we go. You see the little shrubs? And now I'm going to take this light Calypso Coral and do the same thing. Just going to do it on the chimney. And I'm going to do the front door. So I'm wondering, has anybody purchased any of the items in this suite yet? It's in the new mini catalog, and when I saw it, I had to have it, and I have it all, of course. So as we go over the next few weeks, you'll see some more cards with using different pieces and parts from the suite. So I just wanted to burnish that, fold and burnish, so my card is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and put this right on the inside. So let me grab my multi-purpose glue. And go along the edge here, a little bit in the middle. And then let's put this down. I can't wait to hear what you all think about this card. So fun. We made it last week at my stamp club meeting here at my house. Here we are. That's the decoration for the inside. Now let's work on the outside of the card. Let's do this first. Let's talk about this. I am going to emboss this. So I stamped first, and now I'm going to use an embossing folder. So I need to move those things out of the way and get my cut and emboss machine. There we go. And this folder that I'm using is called Painted Texture. It's a 3D embossing folder. And this particular one is no longer available, but they do have another one that's really similar, and I think it's called Painted Plaster. So it does have kind of this look of, the strokes of the plaster in it. So that's a good substitute if you don't have this one, but you want something similar. And since we're going to do embossing with a 3D folder, I'm going to put together my sandwich here. So first I've got my base, and then I need to put this piece in here. There we go. And that goes on here. And then this plate number 4 goes on top. And let's send that through. Oops. Move this out of the way for a minute. And here we go. Oops, it's stuck. There we go. So we've got our stamped sentiment, and then we have this really nice embossing. So if you want to get this look, just make sure that you stamp first, because it'd be hard to stamp on this after it was embossed. Now, I am going to take this and I'm going to tear it just about the middle all the way across. All right. So I'm just going to, when I tear, I just go a little bit at a time, and I'm just kind of holding it with between my left thumb and index finger. And then on the right side, the same fingers, but just pulling it toward me. And that's a good way to be able to kind of control where it's going. So your tearing doesn't just go whoop all over the place, right? So there we go. There we have our two pieces. And when I put this on my card, I'm actually going to flip this one over, because let me just see if you can see this. So this bottom piece, you can kind of see the raw inside of the paper, but this piece you cannot. That's just the way it tears. So I want to see that inside piece of the paper there. It makes it look just a little bit rougher, I would say. So that's the way I want to put it on the front of my card. So I'm just going to put it here. And then before I put that on, I'm going to grab this piece of paper, and I am going to adhere it right here in the middle vertically. So let's do that. At the end, I'll show you a couple other versions of this card. Okay, and I'm just kind of guessing here, not measuring anything, but just looking at the space above, the space below, and that looks pretty close. So we've got that. Now, I'm going to put this so it's overlapping the paper. I love torn paper. I love that look. I haven't done it in a while. Sometimes I forget about things. There are just so many things you can do in paper crafting. There we go. So I'm just leaving some space here at the bottom that is, whoops, I just moved it. It's just similar to the space that's on each side. Press that down. And now we want to put this right here. And the other thing I'll mention is, how I flip this one over. That won't really work with every embossing folder because, when you run it through, one side is embossed and one side is debossed. And but with this folder, because of the way it is, it's just so random, it doesn't matter. It doesn't look like the back side. You can't tell. The embossing doesn't give it away. So you might take that into consideration when you're choosing your embossing folder. So let's get this on here. Like move it around. I'm going to pull it closer to me so I can get above it a little bit and see a little better what I'm doing. There we go. But that's what we have so far. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started. All right, so let me take this and I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm going to grab this piece of old olive and I'm going to put the lid on my glue. I want it to dry out. Now, I am going to use this die, and it is also from that suite. Hold on. It is the Storybook Friends dies. It's this one. So you see, there's two other ones that are frames, and these are so pretty and very intricate, very dainty. I like that. All right, so let's grab the cut and emboss machine again. And now I need my platform and number two and number three. I'm going to put this right here, put my die on top of it. And let's put that last plate on there. And now I'm going to run it through. And because the die is kind of intricate, has a lot of little bitty pieces that we're going to punch out. That's what makes it so pretty. Is I'm just running this back and forth a few times just to make sure we get a really good cut with our die. All right. You guys are being awfully quiet. Hope I'm not putting you to sleep. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to pull out something else. Have you seen this? Do you have one of these? This is a roller brush, easy for me to say. And this is an attachment that you can purchase separately that goes with your take your pick tool. So you just screw it on there like this. And this is really good for intricate dies. Now this one is very solid. Sometimes you've got dies that are really open. They have a lot of open spaces and a lot of little places that you need to punch out. And it works fantastic with that. And also when you purchase this little roller brush, you get two of these. It's like a little foam platform. So the idea is you put it here and then you run this over it. And so the little bristles from the brush are hitting these little dots. Now, if this were a little bit more open, it'd be easier for the brush to get down in there. But I think it does help with this. So, I'm just going to do it. There we go. All right. Oh, and yeah, you can see, look at all these little pieces that are coming out. So there are a few that haven't let loose yet. So I'm just going to use the pointy end and we're going to push those out. Let's see, we got one here. There we go. And what else? One here. Oh, it already fell out. Okay. I like that. We have just a few more. This one and one here. So they just need a little bit of encouragement. They fall right out. They just have to get into that little hole and push them out. There we go. Looks like everything is punched out here. Now I want to get this piece of paper out of my die. So, I ran it back and forth in there. So it really kind of got, I don't want to say stuck, but it really, was forced into the die. And I just ran this around the corners. And there we go. That is such a beautiful little frame. Love it. Now let's get rid of this. Okay. Now, as beautiful as that is, I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to do something else with it. So I am going to make this kind of, I would say, like tarnished. Sometimes when things are old, they get a little tarnished. So I am using, what am I using? Pecan pie. That's what I'm using. And so I've got a mini blending brush here. It's one of the small ones. And I'm just going to pick up some ink from my ink pad. And I'm going to start over here at the side. And then I'm just going to brush some of that onto, I'm just going to kind of do the corners of this little frame. And I don't know, you could say I'm antiquing it or just adding a little tarnish to it. I think it just makes it more interesting because the color kind of settles into these little nooks and crannies. Let me pick that up. So I'm going to put just a little bit more up here in this corner, and maybe a little bit more down there. So I don't want to color it brown, but I just want to kind of put a little bit of interest on it. There we go. You can see it there. Does that look tarnished to you? I like the way that looks. Okay, carrying on. Now, this is going to go inside the frame. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me grab my glue and I am just going to do a little tiny bit, maybe. There we go. We don't need a lot of glue. Because once this sticks on there, I mean, it's not going anywhere. So I'm just doing a little bit, like right up next to this edge. Now, let's take this and bring it from the back. And then I'm just gonna move it around a little bit. Let me look at the back here. So I cut it small enough so it's not showing through on these open spots. So I gotta know, what do you think? Because I just thought this was a really cute way to use some of the elements of this suite and maybe not the most obvious way. Right? So let's get some dimensionals and put on the back of this. I've got some here somewhere. There we go. And this one's got one stuck on the back. How funny. All right, let's grab a few of these. I know some more of you have popped on while I'm going here, so welcome. And if you're watching the replay, that's awesome too. Okay, let's take the backing off of these. And now, just going to put this right about here. There is our card. Cute little cottage card. Looks like it's framed. Looks like maybe it's going to antiqued a little bit. And there's our tiny little cottage with just a little bit of color on it. Here we are. Okay, let me show you a couple other ones that I made. So this one is, and it's got a different cottage. So this is just a little bit different. I used a different piece of paper and I did not stamp a sentiment on it. So it's just plain on the front. That's cute too. And then this one more here. This one, I did not run this piece of basic beige through the embossing folder. Did not use an embossing folder. So I did stamp at the bottom. So, you can make different versions. You don't have to do it exactly the way I did because I've done it several different ways. So oh, Mary, thank you. Thank you. So I hope that you'll give this a try. Even if you're maybe not using the exact things I did, but maybe experimenting with a piece of designer series paper and some torn cardstock, overlapping it and then a focal image in the middle. I just think there's a lot of little different things that I did here that you could pull out and use on your next creation. So thank you very much for stopping by. Remember, you can find me here. That's my website. All the things are there. And I'm so glad you stopped by for some stamping with me this afternoon. And I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.